Are you living for Allah, or just living for the eyes of people? Imagine this: a person steps out into a crowd wearing countless masks. Today, they force a smile, tomorrow they push themselves to look successful, the next day they remain silent, just to please others. But when night falls in the darkness, their heart trembles, longing for peace, longing for a truth that does not need to be hidden. This society constantly feeds us its definition of success: degrees, careers, the spotlight. And step by step we drift away from fitra, the pure nature that Allah placed in every soul. That is why we feel restless, exhausted, empty. It is not because we are weak, but because we are being pulled far away from our true selves. This video is a journey for you to discover what it means to choose yourself, to live true to your soul while still serving Allah and becoming a source of light for others. If you have ever felt uneasy, tired, or carried an emptiness in your chest that you could not name, know this: it is not a sign of weakness. It is the call of your soul, telling you that you have wandered off the rhythm you were created to live by. Ibn Arabi once reminded, every time you forget yourself just to please others, you are silencing the sacred voice within. Think about it. How many times in life have you chosen a path just because society expected it? A so-called stable major, a job that others admire, a role that makes the crowd applaud, yet inside you feel more and more drained. That is misalignment. When the outside and the inside no longer match, your heart sends a signal through emptiness, calling you back. And today, I want to ask you one direct question, a question that may pierce deep into your heart. Your most recent decision. Did it come from fear or from sincerity? Do not rush to answer. Let the question echo within you, because the very moment you dare to face it, you begin the journey back to the pure essence Allah placed in your heart. Many of us carry a fear: if I choose myself, will I become selfish? But the truth is the opposite. Only when your heart is at peace can you give the best of yourself to others. Remember the teaching of Rasulullah: none of you truly believes until he loves for his brother what he loves for himself. Putting yourself first is not about denying others. It is about laying the foundation for love to flow. An empty heart cannot fill anyone else. But a heart overflowing with light can illuminate a family, a community. Ibn Arabi called this the law of tanasub, correspondence. When you live true to your essence, authentic opportunities will come to you. Like a magnet, you attract what matches the frequency of your heart. Picture this: someone brave enough to leave behind a so-called stable job that society praises. At first, people around them doubted, even criticized. But only by stepping away did that person discover their true mission, a calling that filled each day with joy and meaning. And their happiness did not stay with them alone. It nourished their family. It inspired their friends. So here is my invitation to you: do you dare to say no to what is draining the light from you? It might be a controlling relationship. It might be a habit that eats away at your health. It might be a responsibility you carry only out of fear of being judged. But the moment you gather the courage to put an end to it, you will see a new door open, a space where your soul can breathe, where you can live true. To truly choose yourself, you must pass through a difficult threshold, facing the darkness within. In tradition, this is called nafs, al-ammarah, the lower self, the dwelling place of desire, arrogance, jealousy. Ibn Arabi once said, what you run from will rule over you. What you dare to face will serve you. That means the more you avoid your weaknesses, the more they chain you down. But if you stand before Allah with courage, acknowledging them instead of denying them, that very darkness becomes the soil from which you grow. I want to invite you to a small experience right now. Close your eyes for 30 seconds and imagine that tomorrow you no longer fear judgment, no longer fear anyone's gaze. How would you live differently? What would you choose for yourself? What would you let go of? The moment you dare to face your darkness, the light also begins to break through. Have you ever asked yourself, why am I exhausted but still unable to let go? We often cling tightly to things that no longer carry life. an old dream, a job that drains every drop of energy, a relationship that brings only pain. We fear that if we release them, we will lose everything. But imagine this: you are holding onto a broken, dead branch. The tighter you grip it, the more your hand bleeds. Only when you release it will you see. Right beside you, new green shoots are already rising, waiting for your touch. Letting go is not failure. Letting go is the beginning, the birth of the truest self you were always meant to be. There was once a person who, after decades, found the courage to leave a marriage full of control. On the very first night, they trembled alone, overwhelmed by fear. But then, day by day, they learned how to smile for real, how to say, "I want," how to live as a soul breathed into by Allah. So, I want to ask you, and please do not rush to answer. Let it linger in your heart. What in your life has already died, yet you are still holding on to it? Perhaps that very question will open the door to a new chapter of your life. In the Quran, Allah reminds us, do not throw yourselves into destruction. Setting boundaries is not about cutting yourself off from the world. It is about protecting the amana, the sacred trust that Allah placed within you, your very soul and your vitality. Many people confuse boundaries with cold walls, but in truth, boundaries are not meant to push people away. They are meant to keep love pure. A heart without boundaries will be drained dry, but a heart that honors its limits becomes like a fresh spring, always full, always ready to give. Try this small practice. After each meeting or conversation, ask yourself, did this person make me shine brighter, or did they make me dimmer? The answer will show you which relationships Allah wants you to nurture and which ones you are meant to close. Here is a simple but powerful rule. When you dare to say no, two things will happen. Those who do not respect your boundaries will leave on their own, but those who truly value you will stay, and that relationship will grow stronger, healthier, and more authentic. Setting boundaries is in essence an act of worship, because you are saying to Allah, Ya Rab, I am protecting the gift you entrusted to me. I will not let my soul be destroyed just to please this world. In the Quran, Allah has declared Allah will not change the condition of a people until they change what is within themselves. The miracle is here when your inside changes, the outside world also shifts to reflect it. The inner and the outer are always deeply connected. Imagine your heart as a compass. When the needle points to the right direction, to your fitra, to the truth, then the path, the people, the opportunities, even the so-called coincidences begin to appear in alignment with you. Ibn Arabi called this moment tajalli, the manifestation of the divine in life. That is the moment when what you truly need, not what you force, finds its way to you. Do you remember a time in your life when you made a true decision to change and suddenly a sign appeared? Maybe a book fell right into your hands. Maybe an old friend reappeared with a piece of priceless advice. Maybe a new door of work opened the moment you let go of what no longer fit. I once heard the story of a woman. For years, she lived exhausted by a job that drained her completely. Then one day, she prayed to Allah and decided, I do not want to pretend anymore. Only weeks later, she ran into an old friend, and from that encounter, a completely new door opened, a job that not only sustained her life, but nourished her soul. That was not coincidence. That was Allah's design. That was tajalli, the divine unfolding when she dared to choose herself. Believe this: when you make peace with your inner self, life on the outside will shift to match it. And then, you no longer have to chase life. Life itself will come running to you. When you live true, you do not need to preach. You do not need to argue. You do not need to prove anything. Your very presence becomes a living proof. This is the silent Dawah, the most beautiful invitation, because it flows from the heart, not from words. This power spreads like dominoes. When one heart awakens, an entire family begins to change. When a father or mother chooses honesty and dares to live true, their children learn courage and integrity. When one person rejects pretense to step into the light, their friends are inspired to do the same. Ibn Arabi once said that the true soul is a sacred flame, and that flame, once it is lit, can touch countless other hearts. Picture a candle. When it lights another candle, it does not lose its own flame. On the contrary, the light multiplies. The darkness is pushed back and the entire space begins to glow. That is you. When you dare to live true, you become a lamp for others. You do not need to raise your voice to change the world. Simply by shining in the essence Allah created you with, you are already a proof and inspiration, the spark that ignites hundreds, even thousands of other hearts. We have walked together on this journey, learning to listen to the signals from within, letting go of what has already died in your hands, setting boundaries to protect the amana, living in harmony between the inside and the outside, and finally, becoming a lamp that shines for others. Now I want to invite you to pause for a moment and ask yourself these 3 questions. What in my life still reflects the pure essence that Allah has given me? What do I need to let go of today? What boundary will I set to protect my soul? Write down one specific step that you will take today and share it in the comments. Because who knows, your small action may become the very sign that someone out there has been praying to Allah to find. And finally, I want you to remember this. You are not alone. Every time one heart awakens, the entire world changes.